Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be starting the program now. I'd like to welcome everybody to the 2016 HFTP President's Evening Dinner. For those of you who have not had the pleasure of meeting, I'm Frank Wolf. I'm the CEO of HFTP, and I will be, thank you. Before we begin, and tonight we're going to have some special guests and things in the script, so please bear with us if it seems a little clunky. But as many of you know, HFTP has started as we go to a city, helping a local organization. Last year at Seattle, we did the firefighter families. And when we were in Austin, we did the flood victims. When we were in New Orleans, we did the Red Cross. And this evening, we have a special guest who's come to play your heartstrings a little bit and tell you a little bit about this year's organization, where we have the silent auction going on, which is right over here in this room, and it will be there for probably till about 9 o'clock or so. But if I could, I would like to welcome Michael Phillips. Sorry, Michael, I'm old, I can't read. Michael Phillips from 3 Square. He is the Director of Marketing.
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to give a heartfelt thanks to your organization for recognizing us and supporting us, and I just wanted to tell you briefly about 3 Square. 3 Square is Southern Nevada's only food bank. 1 in 6 Southern Nevadans struggles with hunger, and we serve 137,000 people every month. 64, thank you. We focus on those most at risk. Unfortunately, 64% of the kids in Clark County School District are on free or reduced lunch, and so we have a big focus on them. Today in our kitchen, we packed 13,000 meals that go to the Kids Cafe, which is our after-school feeding, which acts as dinner for some of those kids who are the most insecure. We also focus on seniors and families, and one of the things that I really appreciate is coming from my background. I'm a native, and I'm only one generation away from poverty. My dad grew up in poverty, and I like to relate it to a can of tuna fish. And if you can picture a can of tuna fish, it's silver, but to a food bank, a can of tuna fish is gold. And when I was growing up, we would, because protein is so needed, and when I was growing up, we would make, 2 tuna fish sandwiches with a can of tuna. And my dad tells me stories of how, with 7 kids in his family, they basically made tuna salad. They threw celery and lettuce and everything they could to make enough to feed 9 people on 1 can of tuna. And so, as you enjoy your meal tonight, I again want to thank you for your support, but I hope you remember, that in your community and in our community, there's a lot of people struggling with hunger out there, and we can disagree on many issues, and especially this time of year, unfortunately, But one thing I think we can all agree on, that no one should ever go hungry. And so thank you again for your support of 3 Square. And as we say it at 3 Square, together we can feed everyone. Thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you very much, Michael. That's great to hear. Scott Campbell was telling me the other day that the kids, they hear the hospitality community, among others, come in and they pack these backpacks. And on Friday afternoon, they deliver the backpacks to the kids. And the kids take them home so that they have meals over the weekend. And then on Monday, the kids bring back the backpacks, and during the week they're packed again for delivery on Friday. So it is a great service, and it doesn't involve email, and it doesn't involve hot mics or anything like that. It involves taking care of kids. So we really appreciate the work you do at 3 Square, and hopefully we'll get some money tonight. So, on the opening keynote on Wednesday, everybody got to see the new membership video. And you may remember that Arlene asked everybody that wanted to come up and make a little video. This is my HFTP, so that we could add some. So tonight we are going to have the world premiere of This Is My HFTP. Or not.
This is my HFTP.
This is my HFTP.
This is my HFTP.
All together, this is my HFTP.
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 Dit is mijn HFTP.
This is my HFTP.
This is my HFTP.
This is my HFTP. This is my HFTP.
This is my HFTP.
Thanks a lot to everybody who participated, and if for some reason anybody ended up on the apparently the cutting room floor like I did, sorry, I don't know what happened there, but okay. So it's great. I want to tell you tonight, those of you, we want to have a special thanks for those of you who submitted the adventure pictures. Those will be rolling. You'll enjoy those, I hope, and we really wanted to keep it with the theme. We also are going to begin tonight's ceremony with the unveiling of this year's President Award recipient, and I'll be calling Arlene up in a second, but I just wanted to say, as part of this, a personal thank you to Arlene, because in this last 60, 72 months or something like that, I've gotten to know her and her family. And as you know, last year, Alexandra was here, and she helped us with the program. And, Arlene has a wonderful family. But Arlene's husband, Albert, he and I have become quite comedians with each other. And he is a great guy. It's unfortunate that he can't be here tonight to be with us. He is, I think he's somewhere in the air between Japan and Houston tonight. He has a hotel. As some of you know, he is a regional controller, I think, is his title, from Four Seasons Hotels. So since we're friends, I'll say thank you, Arlene, on behalf of him. We're going to be glad to have you back in the house. So with that, I'll call Arlene up to give the President's Award.
this time I have the award in my hand, so it's not virtual. So the President's Award is an award that is totally at my discretion, and it's for someone who I feel has embodied or assisted HFTP in its success. And it was really difficult because this year as I went around throughout the world, literally, and here in the US, there were so many individuals that I felt were deserving of this award. But I decided that one individual that personified what we're looking for, and especially with the chapters and getting people excited about HFTP, was Amir Islam, who is the gentleman who started the Dubai chapter. And he was an income auditor with the Ritz-Carlton, and he's since been promoted, and he's at an autograph property in Dubai. And he sold, single-handedly or organized several of senior people, much senior than he, to come to the Ritz-Carlton when we were there in Dubai to start the Dubai chapter, and he has been very instrumental in getting them organized, and they've already had several meetings. And I just think for someone who's so far away to reach out and just have such a passion, we're lucky that we have a lot of support here domestically, but he's out there sort of by himself, and he made it an amazing experience for all of those who joined the chapter. So unfortunately, he's not able to be here tonight. But we will be going to Dubai in November for some presentations, and we will take the award with him. But might as well give him a hand of applause because he did a good job. So when I was asked to pick a President's Award, I told Frank, I have two people that I have in mind. And he said, okay, well, you can do two, because he doesn't like to say no. So the other person that I selected was someone that I met last year in November. I met him when we went to hospice and in London. And this gentleman just really touched me because he was just so enthusiastic about the industry, and he was sort of new to the industry. And he's been a person, whenever I call on him, he, without any hesitation, says, I will help you in any way possible. And he has spoken at conferences when I ask him at the last minute, and he's done an outstanding job. And I've learned a lot from the friendship I've had with him throughout this year. I've only known him for a year, but he is someone that I think is a champion of HFTP and will continue to be so and a great supporter. So at this point, I'd like to ask Alex Sashu to come to the stage.
The reason that suddenly this hat appeared in my hand, other than it's, Indiana Jones style, is that the past presidents of HFTP have wanted to do a challenge of the group, and so later on we will be passing the hat for 3 Square. So at this afternoon's business meeting, it was demonstrated the forward momentum that HFTP has, and we talked a lot about what we're going to do and how we're going to do it and how great you are as members, and it's because of that hard work and commitment. And so tonight is about honoring people and our association leaders and the endeavors they support on behalf of HFTP. Thanks to their expertise and hard work with our association continues to thrive. We wouldn't be where we are today without their leadership. To honor the great tradition I'd like to turn the spotlight to a very special group of individuals that I greatly respect. I was calculating today, I think I've had 240 members of the board of directors since I've been at HFTP, and 26 presidents. So, you know, I've had a lot of dedicated people that I've had the opportunity to work with and learn from. As they grew their professional careers, I got to grow mine, and under their leadership, help to develop HFTP. So as I call your names, I would like to recognize you and ask you to please stand. Frank Agnello, Jr., CHA, CMA. Frank, 2004-2005 president. Jeff Cartwright, CHAE, was president from 1996 to 1997. Anna McFarland, CFE, CHAE, CHTP, CPA, president 2007-2008. Lisa Martin, CHAE, 2011 to 2012. Terry Price, CHAE, CHTP, CPA, 2009 to 2010. Mr. R.P. Rama, CHA, CHAE, CHTP, and Paragon Award winner. Jerry Triever, Alphabet Soup, president 2013 to 2014. And certainly last but not least, but was left off the list, Daniel N. Conti. Oh, but of course, Trouble Tom Smith. Where is he? And, oh, that's right, Agnes DeFranco came in. Where is Agnes? Hello, Agnes. Thank you on behalf of HFTP and the membership for all of your commitment and energy and everything that you've done, giving up your families for a while and balance and whatever. So I believe that there is something going to happen now.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's install the Board of Directors. Thank you. Please, please. It is my honor to be here in front of all of you, I swear. Just being next to a bunch of you during this conference, during the last 4 years has just been mind-blowing. I don't know how I get to be here, and now I'm on stage again for the second straight year, so thank you so much. And again, it's time to install our board of directors. Can I get a round of applause for everyone that's just having a good time, enjoying the conference? It's been a good one. It's been a good one. So in our association, one of the most important ceremonies is the installation of elected leaders. For those being installed, it's a visible testament of their commitment and dedication to HFTP. It represents the promises they have made to serve HFTP with their talents, time, and energy. Those of us who witness this event also play an important role in the ceremony because we too demonstrate our promise to support and encourage our leaders during the coming year. The men and women that we install tonight have made major commitments to help HFTP and its members grow and prosper through the coming year. They are responsible for the future of the association. I join with all of you in wishing these directors the very best in the year ahead. Would the following directors please come forward? She holds a CHAE and CPA She's the Chief Financial Officer at Riverbend Golf and Country Club, Director Stephanie Anderson. All right. She's the co-founder and Chief Executive Officer of Calibri Labs, Director Cindy Estes Green. We have to make sure we at least announce her, even though she can't be here today. But I know everyone wanted to hear her name said, so. Next up, he's the Hospitality Operations Finance Consultant. And on my page, it doesn't even say where he works, and I can't remember. Where does Chris work? Kepler? No, Garland.
He's retired.
Oh, all right. What is my sheet then? All right. Fantastic. Next, and I know he's here because I've seen him and Scott Campbell, I am the vice president of his fan club. Since you're the president, I can't take that. The managing director with E. Horner and Associates, Director Ted Horner. All right, she's the co-founder and vice president at Data Vision Technologies Incorporated, Director Sherry Merrick. All right, he holds an MBA, a CHAE, and a CHTP. He's the Assistant Controller and IT Director for High Point Hotel Corporation, Director Mark Pate. And again, I do believe Mark also had to leave early, got on an early flight. I think he did. Did he? I think he did. All right, next on our list, she holds a CHAE and an MBA. She's the controller at Pelican Isle Yacht Club, Director Lori Rozeski. She holds a CPA, and she's the Assurance Director for McGladrey LLP. Director, Kaiko Shirasu Bailey. RSM, not McGladrey. Kaiko.
Thank you.
And finally, last but certainly not least, he's the Managing Director at Derek Wood Associates Limited, Director Derek Wood. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as a director on the HFTP board, you are charged with representing the best interests of the membership and with charting the course for the association to reach its full potential and future goals. This role requires you to set high standards of professional performance for yourself as well as the association. By your presence here this evening, you acknowledge your willingness to accept this responsibility. Do you pledge to commit your best knowledge and energy to the growth and support of HFTP? If so, answer, I do. I do. Nice. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating and expressing support for our 2016-2017 directors. Oh, you can go now. That was everything. Picture. On stage picture? On stage picture? Sure. Now, I'm very glad that if you were here last year, we didn't have the pleasure of having Timothy Noss in attendance, but I am very glad, at least, that he is here tonight. Because next we will install the executive committee. Will the following officers please come forward? And we will start, of course, with the CHAE CFO for Studio City, Macau, Mr. Timothy Noss. You're much better in person without a delay. All right, he has a CHTP and he's a hospitality IT consultant, Mr. Scott Campbell. He holds a CHTP and he is the executive at Citizen M Hotels, Michael Levy. And she holds a CHAE, CHE, CHIA, and MBA. She already knows who she is. The principal at ADR Hospitality Consulting and faculty at the University of Houston, Arlene Ramirez. Ladies and gentlemen, serving as an officer of HFTP can be challenging and exciting. You have already experienced the time commitment required to execute the many responsibilities you assume as a member of the HFTP Board of Directors. While the association has grown and prospered, there remain many challenges ahead if HFTP is to sustain a high level of performance and achievement. Do you pledge yourself to a renewed commitment to promote the association's progress that benefits the membership and the profession? If so, answer, I do. I do. Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating your 2016-2017 officers. They've also got plaques. They've also got plaques. Thank you, Derek. Still, I still can't believe that I'm on a stage with this company. It's crazy, mind-blowing. I'd also like to say that introducing the next speaker is pretty amazing as well. I'm not good ad-libbing like a lot of you guys. So I'd like to look forward and welcome the individual who will be our HFTP Global President for the coming year. And to introduce him is longtime HFTP member and Global Past President and friend, Daniel Conte!
You gonna leave me some paper?
I don't know.
You don't know. I don't know either. Give it up for Chris, come on. I was gonna take the hat off, Lyle told me I couldn't, so here it is. So it's really my honor to be here to install my good friend Lyle Worthington, who I've known for a very long time. But we have a very special guest first who's going to speak about him, who requested some time. And it's been my pleasure to meet this individual for the first time this trip. So we're going to ask Lyle's mother to come up first. You know the expression behind every good man is a good woman? Well, here's the good woman. Stairs on this side, Mom. You gotta go around. I don't think you want to jump like I did, though. No.
Okay, those of you who know my son know that we are not a shy family. Never have been. But I'm a very emotional person, so hopefully I can say this. When Lyle was 16 years old, he had a horrific accident and was in a wheelchair. It happened 1 week after he made state swim team. Sorry. The doctors told him he would be lucky to walk again. He would never compete in sports and do the things that he loved. He would never be able to run. As you have seen him, he didn't believe him. He not only went on to run, he joined the cross-country team. The next year, he picked up a new sport, lacrosse, which is, anybody knows, is not a sit-on-the-sidelines kind of sport. And then after graduating, he went on to play all through college for UT. And then after he graduated, he looked for new sports and new challenges. He ended up with the Spartan. He last year achieved one of the most unrealistic goals ever. He became a quadruple trifecta, which means he ran over 12 races, some of which were 15 miles long with I have no idea how many obstacles. When he was going through this wreck and in his wheelchair, he was a homebound student. During that time, unfortunately, most of the teachers that taught homebound were not quite up to the level of teaching he needed. I spent a lot of time at the school and got to be pretty good friends with his physics teacher, who said, although Lyle is a very precocious child, just putting it mildly, he is also my best student. When I give the kids a project, I always give extra credit because some kids are not able to complete the project and they need the extra credit. Lyle will do the project. He will do every bit of the extra credit and add extra on. I cannot give him the grade this year that he deserves because they only allow me to give him a 100. The lowest grade Lyle has ever made in my class is a 114. You are getting a president who will give you, at the minimum, 114%. Thank you.
What is it with this family making me cry today? That's what I would say. We are family. So I would like to start off by saying Lyle's induction as president has not been without controversy. There's been the fact that he's deleted a lot of emails prior to this. There's been accusations of voter fraud going on. I personally do think the election was fixed. I'm not totally sure. I will say, though, there was an attempt to give him food poisoning. I do have to apologize. That was really meant for Arlene. I don't know how you got the plate. Because if she had gotten sick, I would just resume the presidency at that point. So, I mean, I tried. I had to yell at the kitchen for messing that one up. The one thing I will say, though, about my good friend Lyle is really, if you were going to get into a debate with somebody, this would not be the person I would choose to get into a debate with. I have debated with him before and lost. I don't think I've ever won a debate with Lyle because his desire to know as much as possible about everything, as his mother just so eloquently said, is just unbelievable. And he is the most prepared person I have ever met on any subject. And if he doesn't know about something, he researches it to the nth degree. And because of that, in all my time that I've known him, he continues to just surprise me with his knowledge. This year, I had the ability to travel with him. I said, you know, Lyle, you know a lot about so much. How in the world did this happen? Well, I found out that when he was very young, a family member bought him a set of encyclopedias. And he told me he read them from cover to cover. And that apparently wasn't enough knowledge because he continued to try to find things to read. Interestingly, I think the fact that he had to flip that many pieces of paper early on in his year is why he now detests paper and everything. If you ever win them and somebody asks him for a business card, he looks at them like they're crazy. He says, I don't have printed things. It's not what he does because he's that techie guy. That's my buddy. But what's interesting is, he mentioned it this morning, we met at the Texas Regional, and we have a very similar story about how we met when we went to dinner that night. He talks about how he met all these great people and why was he at the table, and I walked away and said, that's the smartest guy I've met in a long time, and oh my goodness, I'm really intimidated by him. He is so intense about everything. Every subject, everything he does, there's this intensity that is unbelievable. I don't know where this energy comes from. And then as I've gotten to know him, I've changed that word from intensity to the word passion. Because it's his passion that he has for everything he does that really defines who he is. And that passion comes out in every conversation you have with him and everything that he does in his life. In fact, if you follow him on social media like I do, and I see him travel all over the place, you see his passion for everything. Now, there is one thing, a lot of this travel that he does, there's another individual that's in a lot of these pictures, and Benny's here, but we did have one question for you, Lyle. Are you sure? Are you really sure? We're just have to, I mean, Tom wanted me to ask the question. So. But really, the epitome of how Lyle is a series of pictures that I followed him on when he was in China. He went and spoke in China, and they all loved him, and there's pictures of him, and he looks all official, and he's talking about all these great things, and there's write-ups on it.
And then the next day, I find out that there's this race going on, and they invite him, would you like to run in the race? Well, as his mother pointed out, Lyle doesn't like to lose at anything. He gives 114%. And I hear the story about how there's all these Chinese individuals and the two guys that have, I think, won it for like the last 12 years at this conference, and they're all stretching and getting ready, and Lyle just kind of shows up, and it's like, oh, I need like shoes, and how am I going to do this? And Lyle won, and Lyle finished, and then it was, he like almost lapped the guys that have won for the last 12 years, and it's just the epitome of how he is. I told him, unfortunately, in China, they like, who knows where these guys now have to live because they've shamed the entire country and they've been shipped out somewhere because he beat them in this poor race. I said, he's really not being nice to his hosts. But that's really who he is, everything he does. These Spartan races that he runs, one thing that Mom forgot to mention is she ran one this year with him. And that shows you also about him, because his mother actually is the world to him. He talks about her all the time when we're together and how much he appreciates all that she's done. And I truly have known Lyle a really long time, and that expression, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, the reason why Lyle is the way he is no doubt because of who you are, Mom, and we greatly appreciate that. Now, I asked a lot of individuals to give me one word to describe Lyle. Some of them can't be repeated. So I will tell you in private the ones that Scott Campbell gave me, but we will not give them from the platform. What's interesting, though, is 4 of these individuals all used the word passionate as well, and that's the word I had already come up with. So that really is who he is, that passion. Others, Tom Smith said that he was revolutionary because he thought about things before any of us did at times and really helped push us forward. Shel Brennan said that he was receptive and that he was really open to listening to other points of view. Even though in the end he'd probably tell you you're wrong, he'd still listen to them. But really that's not true. Lyle listens to a lot of things, and Lyle mentioned this morning about me texting him during a board meeting. The real story on that is he was about to argue a point, and I knew it, and I just texted him and said, shut up, I'll explain later. And the truth is, Lyle did not argue the point because of the relationship we have and the trust we have in each other. And afterwards he came up and said, okay, why couldn't I argue with you? And I explained to him, oh, that made sense. But that's who he is. He has that trust in people, and he shows that on so many occasions in every aspect of his life. Jerry called you tenacious. Agnes said you were innovative. Rosemary said you were a genius. Anna McFarland called you a kid at heart and creative. Lisa Martin said you're all in. Chris Singleton said you're sincere. Arlene said you're unpredictable. And Michael Levy, who cannot ever just use one word, said he's great, kind, and honest. I truly believe that these words don't even do justice to really describe Lyle, because Lyle's somebody who one word can't describe. He does so many things for so many people, and we talked today about the things outside of HFTP. Well, Lyle's dedication to startups, to those who are disadvantaged, to those who maybe haven't had the best of luck in their lives, Lyle's constantly trying to help people. If you run across Lyle's path, he's going to help you no matter what it is that you need. And that's why he's going to be phenomenal. I look back at my own presidency, and I look at the things that I got to announce, and I found one common theme in them when I was looking at them. We talked about E20X. First one happened when I was president. Why did that happen? That was all Lyle's brainchild and his push to have that happen. Pineapple Search. Again, an idea that Lyle had at a strategic planning summit that we had that he helped push forward. High Tech's going global and being in other parts of the world. Again, Lyle was pushing that and having that conversation for years. Those are all things that happened during my presidency that I began to look at and said, you know what? My success as president and I said this last year, we succeed together and we fail together. Well, I succeeded only because of that gentleman. His time with me has been amazing, and my friendship with him is unbelievable. And I want to thank you for all that you've done for me personally, Lyle, and it's an honor to be the one that's standing here. But the best thing about Lyle is the ability to laugh. And you can laugh with him about so many things, but the hardest I've ever laughed at any HFTP event ever was actually here in Las Vegas. We were at a long table, and I'm sorry, none of you will really understand this, but Tom Smith, Ian, Lyle, and I sat on a table and laughed so hard, and all I have to say, Lyle, is my back is still hurting. It's because of the ability for Lyle to just go through and connect with people is why he's going to just bring us to a whole nother level that we could ever experience. And his ability to gather in so much data in his head and sort it so perfectly and come out with such great ideas that help not just the technology part of our association, but don't you ever think for a second that he doesn't constantly ask me for the finance point of view. He is just as concerned about that as he is about the technology for all of us, because he knows that we as an association are better together than apart. And I guarantee you that his presidency will do that. And then most recently, he announced that he took a CIO position in Amsterdam at a place called the Student Hotel that fits his mode so well. But I really believe the only reason he did it is because he really wanted to be the first European president ever, because Lyle has to be the first at everything he does. So to all of us that are in this room, from me personally, you have my pledge that I will do whatever possible to help you succeed as president, though in reality I know you don't need me because you have everything you need in yourself. Please welcome up our president to be installed.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lyle Worthington!
So now that they've jumbled up all the pages, I have to find the actual swearing in part. That says good evening, so that's the beginning. Somewhere in here. Now I see why he hates paper. Here we go. Lyle. This evening you assume a very important position, that of Chief Elected Officer of the Hospitality, Financial, and Technology Professionals. This office of President is the highest recognition in the association, but it comes with significant responsibility. It is primarily a post of service to the members of this association and to your chosen profession. Your fellow members have indicated their desire to work under your leadership and guidance to further the goals of this association. Do you accept this responsibility? Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the one and only, my friend and your president, Lyle Worthington.
Hello. My name is Lyle, and I am in IT. They say the first step is always to admit that you have a problem, so Here I am. So I hate to make Daniel a liar, but I have paper. And I actually wrote down all my notes because I'm a little right now and having a hard time even remembering where I'm at. This is so much. This is such an amazing experience. So I'm gonna do this thing. So bear with me a little bit. I come from outside the industry. I spent nearly the first decade of my career in the tech startup world. I worked with all tech people, and I think that we can appreciate that techies have a little bit different mindset and a little bit different way of communicating than the rest of the world. We tend to be concise, brutally honest, sometimes maybe even a little bit impatient, or all the time incredibly impatient about everything, always. Sorry about that. And we always apply the golden rule. We do it to each other, and the reason is because we all kind of like that kind of behavior. Not surprisingly, I get into hospitality, and that golden rule didn't work out so well for me. So it was nice that joining hospitality taught me something. I'm always trying to learn something new, but it taught me the platinum rule, and that's the only rule that matters in technology. Because if we treat everyone the way that we want to be treated, we would have no friends at all. Seriously. For example, and this is a true story, I learned this very early on, try saying things like, help me understand what it is that you mean, instead of, wow, please say that out loud again and see if it doesn't sound stupid to you this time. So, some tech people still haven't gotten this memo, and maybe that's why, the whole living in a basement playing World of Warcraft exists, but I digress. So, the platinum rule, foreign concept to some, but it is the cornerstone of the hospitality industry, and it's one of the things I love so much about hospitality. We treat our guests the way that they want to be treated. But as much as I understand this concept now, one of my failings has always been that I'm just not really good at expressing how I feel about people or telling them how important they are to me. So I'm going to take a little bit of time here, if you'll allow me, to fix that. So many of you have had such a profound impact on me, both professionally, but also more importantly, personally. Rob, Daniel, Prakash, Michael Levy, you've all taught me what it means to be a good human being. A smart and ethical business person, a good husband, and a good family man. You've been more than just friends and mentors to me. You've been role models. Lisa and the Funk family, Jerry and Bernie, Anna and the McFarlands, Terry, Arlene and the Prices, Rob, Michael. You've accepted me into your families and into your homes, and you've shown me what the definition of family really is. Having you in my professional life has been amazing. Considering you my friends is even more amazing. But my whole life, I always wanted a big, close family, and you and your families have given that to me. I don't think you'll ever truly understand just how incredible that is and how much it means to me, but I thank you for that. Jim, Laura, Bill, Stephanie, Lori, RP, Neil, so many others. You've dedicated so much of your time and your life to HFTP, and this association is as amazing as it is because of you, your amazing personalities, and your friendships, so thank you. Tom, Lisa, Anna, Jerry, Terry, Daniel, other Daniel, Cheryl, Rosemary, Julie, you were all there for me and with me since the very beginning. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for your encouragement and advice. And I wouldn't be as happy a person if it weren't for your friendship. You're all incredible people that I feel so fortunate to know, and I love you all. Scott Campbell, I always enjoy hearing your stories, your cool, calm, and collected way of handling the most complex of things. I remember sitting in Vegas with you talking about how your mission in life was to mentor and motivate the next generation in hospitality, and how HFTP was the best way to get that. It's so nice to be around people who genuinely care about mentoring and developing others, and your sense of humor is just an added bonus, and that personality, unbelievable. Daniel, Conti, regardless of what's going on, I've always known I could call you at any time for anything. I meant what I said this morning. I love you, man. Joe Rimbold, Big Joe from Buffalo. So glad you're finally here and getting involved. You've got a brilliant mind. You're a great guy. You're a huge amount of fun to be around, sometimes a bit too much fun, but always a great friend and definitely the future of hospitality. I look forward to sitting in the crowd when you're up here on your President's Evening someday soon. Janjap, ik ben niet een banan en honden houden niet van hoden. Learning Dutch, in case you're wondering. 2 people in the room are laughing right now. My mission in life is to do smart things with smart people, to always be around people who do the right things for the right reason, and to surround myself with people who care more about the world than about themselves. And that's definitely you. I'm so grateful I met you. I'm honored to know you and have you as a friend. Allison, there's Allison. I'll never forget you poisoning yourself just to make sure I had a great dessert at lunch the first time we met. Or you falling down the stairs at that first conference, or us crossing the finish line of a Tough Mudder together. I've enjoyed so much our long talks about life and love in the industry. You are truly an incredible person, a great friend, and absolutely brilliant. Benny, you and Ruby jumped through hoops to be here for me tonight, and I'm going to lose my shit for a minute. But that's pretty much how it's always been with you. Always there, always doing things for everyone else, and never asking for anything in return. Seriously, the best friend anyone could ask for, and what you do for people around you, even the ones that don't treat you right or that don't deserve what you do for them, is one of the things that makes you different than most people, and one of the best people I've ever known. You helped me when I needed it, even though I never had to ask for it. We traveled the world. We've done amazing things, I am sure, by the way, for those of you who are wondering. And I hope to one day be as cool as you, but I know that that's simply not possible. And Ruby, you deserve all kinds of medals for putting up with him. And Benny, you for her as well. But I'm glad you kept finding each other over the years and finally got together. I love you both. Love you. And, you know, I would be ashamed of myself if I didn't mention the team that makes all of this possible. You hear Frank and others talk about how amazing the staff is, but it wasn't until I really got involved that I could really see how much work they actually do, how well they work together, and how great their leadership is. Stephen, I can only describe as Atlas, who carries the weight of high tech on his back, whose hard work and drive is to be admired, studied, and taught to the world. Thomas, Brian, Lucinda, Lynette, Eliza, all hearts the size of this room. Connie, I've really come to enjoy your witty banter, your long, deep conversations, and willingness to express your opinion on anything and everything at any time. Frank, you're more than just CEO. You're a leader, a diplomat, a tough but fair businessman, a caring and loving human, an unbelievably good husband, and the reason we all get to have nice things. I'll always appreciate our conversations and what I've learned from watching you masterfully run HFTP. Thank you to all of you, and I'm sorry I couldn't mention everyone by name, but know that no matter what's going on around us, how crazy things get in the world, all of you give me faith in humanity, and I'm honored to know you. I want to talk a little bit about the theme of President's Evening. As many of you are friends with me on Facebook know, I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie and sort of a travel slut. But my favorite thing to do, as Daniel said, is to run adventure races and obstacle races. Spartans, Tough Mudders, ridiculous obstacle course, pretty much anything I can find. And they've become a huge part of my life for a couple of reasons. One is because there's nothing worse to me than running. There's really no job worse than running. And I've cleaned bathrooms at a Pizza Hut before. So that should tell you how much I hate running. But after a run, everything else in the world seems to be a whole lot better. No matter how bad something happens, no matter how bad it gets after that, I'm like, well, at least I'm not running. So I found that this is a great way to put, minor obstacles you face into a larger perspective and ask yourself, is this really worth being this upset about, and is the problem really that bad? But the main reason is that these races represent to me how we live our lives in general. You know, when everything is going great, we're in our stride and we feel like nothing can stop us and everything's amazing, life always throws us another obstacle. And we have two choices. We can climb over that obstacle, or we can let it break us and force us to quit. And these races are the same way. And they treat you not to train for everything to be normal and easy, but for everything to be not normal and difficult. You train to overcome obstacles. And that doesn't mean just completing them. It means moving on from them and continuing about your journey, knowing that at any moment you could turn the corner and get hit by another one. You keep moving forward. You beat the obstacles, you beat the course, and you finish the race. And I don't think there could be any better parallel for our journey through our personal and professional lives. So I love this theme because I believe that life is an adventure, and I believe that it should be treated that way. And you should apply that same sense of adventure to everything that you do. Never lose it, even your work. And I know there's a lot of finance people out there like, you're not in finance, so you can't say that. But I'm serious. You know, I look at what HFTP is doing as a great adventure. We're expanding internationally. We're growing our offerings. We're partnering with others around the world. We're supporting innovation and startup mentality and startup life with E20X. We're educating the industry at conferences and with our Financial Executive Exchange. We're rewriting our certifications, promoting certifications and education. We're creating tools like Pineapple Search and all the bites. And with this amazing EC, this board, and with all of you, I know it's going to be a really, really fun ride. And I'm not really good at talking about myself. I don't like taking the spotlight, as you probably know. I like to focus on other people, but I want to mention something about my life because it's really important to me and it's really important to the situation that I'm in right now. You know, I believe it's critical to recognize that we're not defined just by our successes and failures, but also by the adversities that we've had to overcome to get to where we are. You know, I didn't have the easiest childhood, but I look back at the difficulties I had to overcome as the things that have helped me get this far in life. Not that I faced the adversity, but that I overcame them. And when it comes to overcoming adversity, I believe two things help more than anything else. The first is a role model who teaches you how to be the best version of yourself by being the best version of themselves as well. And number two, learning from the bad thing that happened. And instead of letting it break you, use it to set goals to push yourself even further. So I'm so fortunate, and I'm really going to lose my right now, but I'm so fortunate to have my first and most important role model here in this room, my mother. We didn't have much when I was growing up. You know, there were weeks where I wore the same clothes multiple times. There were times we ate the same chicken and dumplings for an entire week, or that same single can of tuna. There were times where I didn't eat. There were many, many more times where I ate, but she didn't, and I never knew. And there were times where I didn't see her because she had 3 different jobs that she did just to keep food on the table and a roof over our heads. She could have asked for help. She could have looked to someone else to give us things. She could have blamed the system. She could have done a lot of things. But she didn't, and she pulled it off. She taught me so many important lessons about life, that you should earn your own way. You should work harder than everyone else. You should give more than you get and love more than you are loved. You know, as I got picked on for being a new kid, being young, being poor, being nerdy, she told me it didn't matter what other people thought. She said, what matters is who you are and what good you do in the world. And that it's what you do when no one is looking that truly defines who you are as a person. While I was being bullied, she told me, don't worry about that, because you can be anything that you want. You can do anything you set your mind to. You can accomplish any goal you set for yourself. She believed in me. She believed in me so much that I had no choice but to believe in myself. She taught me my work ethic. She showed me what it means to sacrifice unconditionally for someone else. And even to this day, she keeps teaching me the strength of the human spirit and will, what it means to work hard, and the importance of fulfilling your commitments. Because just over a year ago, she vowed to get in shape, train, and run a grueling 5-mile Spartan race with me. And just before her 60th birthday, we both crossed the finish line of our first of many Spartan races together. And a few months later, we did her first indoor skydive. 2 things that would have been impossible 2 years ago. So thank you, Mom, for being more than just a mother, for being the best role model, teacher, motivator, and positive influence that anyone could ever ask for. And you've always been my biggest cheerleader, though this was sometimes a little embarrassing as a kid when you'd rupture everyone in the stadium's eardrums screaming for me. Seriously, I should not have been able to hear you from 80 yards away in a crowded stadium. But seriously, I would not be here, nor would I be the person I am if it weren't for you. And I'm so glad that all of you get to meet her because she really is a lot cooler than I am. So, all right. Woosah. I made it through. It's good. So back to the topic of obstacles. Here's a big one that I want to close on. All too often I hear people say, "What can I do? I'm just one person." I remember sitting in the living room with my mother and her friends when I was 6 years old watching the launch of the Challenger space shuttle. When it exploded, I didn't quite grasp what happened immediately. I was 6. In fact, I thought it looked like fireworks and I thought it was cool. But then came the gasps and the screams, followed by the tears from everyone around me. And only then did I realize what had actually happened. It had a rather profound impact on me, witnessing a tragedy like this for the first time, seeing how painful the death of complete strangers was, and then the guilt that I felt for at first thinking it looked cool. But many years later, I read that the NASA engineers knew that the O-rings that caused the issue had issues in colder weather, and they had actually pushed for a delay, only to be overruled by management eager to complete the launch. And the unfortunate lesson that I took from that, and that I think is important, is that we don't always learn from our mistakes. And we don't always listen to the people that we call experts. Nearly every major tragedy or crisis has had some advanced warning that was overlooked, overruled, or ignored. The Challenger and Columbia both. The New Orleans levees, the dot-com bust, the housing market collapse, Hillary's emails. None of these came without warning. Not trying to get political, yeah. Sometimes the warnings are just missed, but sometimes corners are cut and compromises are made. Professionally, I think the worst thing we can do is automatically assume that higher-ups or people we consider industry leaders know better than we do, and then just sit back and do nothing, thinking we're just one person. And it's not just telling ourselves that we won't make the difference, it's actually believing it that I think is so bad. Because the truth is you can and do make a difference in the world. And through HFTP, none of us are just one person, and we do not have just one voice. We have this amazing forum where all of our voices come together. And by working together, we do make a difference in our professions, our industry segments, our hospitality industry as a whole. And through the friendships and love we get from our HFTP family, a major difference is made in our personal lives as well. I know that that's been the case for me. I truly believe that our professions alone, IT and finance, are very strong, but together we are stronger. Our individual segments, club, hotel, gaming, we are strong, but together we're stronger. This is our opportunity to work together, to build something, to improve everything, to set the stage for our future, to do the good thing, to do all of the good things. This is your opportunity to make a difference. All of you have incredible ideas and thoughts on what we can do to make a difference in the industry. Well, this is the place to share them. And the best part is that we aren't just colleagues here. You'll hear this all the time. For those of you that this is your first HFTP event or you're new to HFTP, you'll hear us say that we are family, and we say that for a reason, because we are. This is what makes HFTP different. That's why I'm here. That's why this is the proudest moment of my life and the greatest honor that I've ever been given. So thank you, all of you, for being amazing, for being there for me, for believing in me, trusting me, and giving me this honor to serve you all as your president. It is truly a dream come true. And now, let's have some fun, celebrate HFTP together, and since we're here at Caesar's Palace, if at least one person doesn't wake up not remembering the night before with a live tiger in their room, I'm going to be a little bit disappointed. So thank you all very much. Thank you for this honor. Thank you all. Now, so if you could just stay standing for a minute, because I am a techie guy, I'm going to do, this is called a family shot. All right. So, before we continue on to tonight's festivities, I'd like to honor my friend and executive committee member Arlene Ramirez, who is passing on her responsibilities as president to me. To say I have big shoes to fill would actually be a lie, because she always wears heels. So I guess I have big heels to fill. Luckily for me, I look really great in heels. Tom? There it is. There we go. Arlene, our time on the EC was cut a little short, but I have always truly enjoyed serving with you. We don't always agree, but that's what made working together so special. Because the thing we always did agree on was that we would do anything and everything to help HFTP be even more successful. I have the utmost respect for you, your intelligence, your drive, your passion, and how much time and effort you put into HFTP. You've changed my perspective on a lot of things, and we're all better for having had you as our president this past year. Thank you, Arlene. I think we have a plaque. Thank you all. That's it. It's time to drink. The bar is open.